Hi Capricorn, welcome to July. This is Teresa from tarotbyt.com. And before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy and create some sacred space around this reading. So, thank you also for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for you guys for taking the time out to comment and give me some feedback on these readings. It's always great to hear that the readings are resonating with people. And for those who have ordered readings, thank you. I appreciate your support and your business, and I've enjoyed working with all of you. So thank you. I realize that you have many to choose from, so I'm honored that you have chosen me. So let's see what's happening. We have a new moon eclipse in Cancer, which is happening in your 7th house, and we have a full moon eclipse in Aquarius, which is happening in your 2nd house of money at the end of July. So, and then we have Mars retrograde, Mercury going retrograde. It's going to be a crazy month. So let's see what the stars, what the cards have to say for Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know about love and relationships for the month of July? What does Capricorn need to know about love and relationships for the month of July? What does Capricorn need to know? The 4 of Wands, the Sun, the 8 of Wands, the Page of Cups, the Hermit, the King of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Magician, the King of Swords, the 8 of Cups. Okay, so you start out with the 4 of Cups and the Sun. This, I mean, you can't get better than that. 4 of Cups is a card of victory, success, marriage even, commitment, stability. So there could be, if you're in a relationship, you might be thinking of marriage or commitment. Your life is stable. If you're not in a relationship, you could be meeting someone that can be very significant to you. The 4 of Wands is victory, it's stability. The Sun is, no matter what problems you're experiencing or you have experienced, and if you're worried about, we all worry about when the other shoe is going to drop. The Sun is saying that everything's going to be okay. The Sun is going to come out. You're going to be in love and life in July. The Sun is, connecting with someone that you really enjoy being with. You have a good rapport. It could also mean doing work that you love, that you're really enjoying your job or the work that you do. So if you start a business, it's going to start to show real success now. Or if you started a relationship, it's going to get serious. It's going to lead to commitment. It's going to lead to at least joy. Even if it doesn't lead to marriage, which it could. With these 2 cards, it could lead to marriage. But for some of you who are not really looking for commitment, who may not want to get married formally, it will lead to stability. It will lead to, just enjoying life for a change instead of working your ass off. Excuse my French. The 8 of Wands. Doors and opportunities are opening up to you. There could also be like a new like I said, there's a possibility for new relationship. You have the Page of Cups here. It could be the birth of a child. The page can be children. Some of you might be having, adding to the family. If not, it's a message of love. So someone may want to tell you. You might have an admirer. Or you might have someone who's interested and is going to be communicating that interest. Because the pages are usually messages, and the Page of Cups is a message of love, or if not, it's an offer of creativity. So if there's a business proposition, you might be offered the chance to work on a creative project. with someone. There could be an age difference, could be a younger person. But in terms of romance, it's on. Now you have the Hermit here and the King of Cups in the future. So I feel like you're doing a lot of thinking. And you're trying to figure out, like you may have been kind of keeping to yourself. Maybe in June you were more of a hermit, you know, not socializing as much, feeling like you needed to be alone to really think about the direction that your life was going in. Well, I think in July you're going to have more social interaction. But you're also going to be trying to decide what to do with your life. Some of you might be leaving a relationship for something new, for someone new, something that's more fulfilling, or you might even be changing career paths or changing jobs, because you have this Eight of Cups here. This is a card of moving on, moving away from something that was once good and it is no longer serving you. It doesn't, you know, like you've lost the motivation or you've lost the spark, and you're thinking of moving on to something else that's more fulfilling. You have these two kings here, the King of Cups and the King of Swords. So the King of Cups is a really beautiful energy, very sensitive. It's a person who's very sensitive, very nurturing, almost like a mother. You know, this person, if it's a male, you know, if it's a woman, this person's very nurturing, very, like, almost, like, very motherly. Even if it's a male. So when I see the King of Cups, I usually think of the sign of Cancer. But it could be any water sign. It could be Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. But the main quality about this person is compassion and healing. So you could be connecting with someone that could really bring healing to your life. It could be a healing relationship. You know, maybe you've been through you could have been involved with someone who had more harsh energy or not enough love. Because I see like this King of Swords and the Page of Swords. You might have been involved with someone who you just aren't feeling the love. You felt like they were too intellectual, not emotional enough, maybe, or feeling that they just didn't know how to express their emotions, and you didn't really feel, you know, you wanted tenderness, and they weren't giving it to you. Because the King of Swords could sometimes come across as harsh and judgmental. And it could be sometimes it's represented by the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But, you know, they're not known for, you know, being overly demonstrative in their emotion. Like, they feel love, but they don't express it. And sometimes you may feel, being an earth sign, that they don't have a heart, or they don't show love. You know, like, you don't know how to show your love. Because the earth signs and water signs, they're very emotional. Like, water signs are emotional. They're not afraid to express their emotions. So this person could be a water sign who's comfortable with emotion and not afraid to say I love you, or to be affectionate, you know, to hug you and let you know that they care. The King of Swords may be a little bit more standoffish, more independent, it may appear more cold. So you could be thinking about leaving a relationship that hasn't been emotionally fulfilling and moving towards something else, like this King of Cups. King of Cups can also represent a counselor or a healer. So you might be going to someone for advice. Maybe there's a health issue or a psychological issue that you want to tackle. And you're going to be looking carefully. You know, you want to examine your options carefully. The Page of Swords is in your fear factor. It's in your psychological block. So there could be some blind spots that you're not seeing, and you have to go deeper. You have to look deeply at your behavior and how you're looking at the situation. Sometimes the Page of Swords can represent gossip and spying. So if you're hearing any kind of gossip in July, don't just take it at face value. Check the source. Make sure that what you're hearing is true, because it may not be true. This also can mean that you may have to have a difficult conversation with someone. So if you're in the process of leaving one relationship for another, or making the decision where you're leaving, if it's a career thing, you know, you're leaving one job for another job, or You may have to have a conversation with someone and talk about your feelings. Talk about what's wrong in the relationship, what you need. And you may have to look at your options realistically. You know, am I seeing, you know, what is real, what's not real? Because the King of Swords, it's in your wish fulfillment sector. So you have a goal and you have a dream. And you can achieve it, but you have to be realistic about it. And, you know, Saturn's in Capricorn right now. So Saturn is really strong in its own sign. And it's forcing us to face reality. Saturn is saying, okay, no more pie in the sky dreams and illusions. If you want to reach your goal, you're going to have to get serious. And you're going to have to look at things the way they really are, not how you imagine them to be. You have to face reality. You have to do the work. You have to be responsible. You can't kid yourself anymore. So you could be making a decision, you know, on what to keep and what to let go of, based on realistic critical thinking and analysis. So that's what this card is telling you. You know, really analyze, look deeper. You know, who is the best person for you? You might be trying to choose between two people, and you really have to give it some serious thought. Do I, you know, stay where I'm at? Do I move to something new? Which situation is going to fulfill me, give me the most? Is going to be the best for me and my path. You have the Magician here in your environment, so you have skills and talents. You just have to focus on a positive outcome. You have to use those skills. Share those skills with the world. Don't be afraid to reach out and create something. Manifest something. Another way that this could play out is if you're dealing with someone, you know, I feel like this King of Cups could be a good influence in your life. But you're dealing also with someone who has a way with words. Could be a little bit of a manipulator, or a, you know, they know how to spin things. They're very good communicators. So you want to make sure that whatever they're promising you, whatever they're telling you, it's true. You know, you got to take it with a grain of salt. You don't want to be manipulated. So that's why the King is here and the Page is here, so that you can look. You have to look at the details. You have to look carefully. And especially if you're being asked to sign any contracts in July with Merc and August, because Mercury's going retrograde at the end of the month. You want to really look at the fine print before you commit to anything, because you want to make sure that you're getting what you're promised. It looks good with the Sun and the Four of Wands. I mean, I think that there's potential for positive things. But you don't want to be careless while you're, you know, moving toward your goal. Things could be really great, and you are going to be moving towards something that's going to really be much better. You might be leaving behind something that just hasn't worked and moving towards something that is going to work. But you want to be careful and, you know, check all the details as you move forward. So let's see what's happening with the astrology. So your new moon in Cancer, this eclipse, is in the 7th house. And it's opposed by Pluto and Saturn. Well, Saturn's not opposing it, but Pluto's opposing this moon. So definitely power struggles in relationships. With Pluto in the 1st house, you're coming into your power. You also have Saturn in the 1st house. You want to be taken seriously. You might be moving into a position of power or leadership. And you want to be careful that you wield that power correctly, that you don't abuse your power, because that could bring problems. If you abuse your power, it's going to bring you problems. Because then you'll be stuck in power struggles with others, because that's the 1st house is this house of self, the 7th house is the house of other, the partnerships, and that could be love or business. So wield your power wisely. You have an opportunity for this new beginning, to forge new relationships that can really transform your life. And these new beginnings, because it's connected with Saturn, they could be in place for a long time. That's why you want to be careful and make sure you've checked everything and that you're on the right path. Because once you commit, it's going to be a lifelong thing. You have Venus in the 9th and Uranus in the 5th. So you could be connecting with people, someone from a foreign country. The ninth house is, or someone that you meet through higher education, through some type of learning, and you might take a class and run into someone. Because Venus in the ninth, if you meet a love interest, it could be someone that's very different from anyone that you've met in the past. They could be connected with higher education, connected with law. The ninth house is the house of law. So it could be education, spirituality, law. The fifth house, with Uranus in the fifth house, it could be spontaneous. You know, out of the blue, you run into this person. It's a very exciting time. And you won't know till after this is all passed if it's going to last with Uranus, because it could be, you know, something that comes up quickly and then ends just as quickly. But it could also mean that in the fifth house, Uranus in the fifth house can mean that your creative projects involve technology in some way. So you could be working on some technology project that you're really going to enjoy. And it's going to bring you recognition. And you may have to learn some new skills to complete this project. But you're going to enjoy it. Because we have a grand Earth trine, which is favorable to Capricorn. You're an Earth sign. It's going to involve your ninth house, your first house, and your fifth house. So your identity is connected to this new project. It could be a love interest that somehow changes your status in some way. Or it could be a creative project or a communications project or an educational project that you put a lot of love and effort into, and it's going to reflect back on you in terms of esteem and honor. So it's an exciting time, and wealth too, because the Earth trines bring wealth and abundance. So the full moon eclipse is on July 27th. That's going to be in Aquarius, and that falls in your second house. And the moon is in your second house, the sun's in your eighth house. So something is coming to culmination. Like you might be finishing up something that's going to bring you greater self-esteem and more money. There might be some technology project. I feel like it's a technology project because of the Aquarius influence. And let's see where Uranus is. Uranus for you is in your fourth house. You might be even thinking, well, no, fifth house, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the next. Yeah, Uranus in the fifth house. So there's some creative project that you're going to be finishing by the end of July that's going to bring you recognition, money, self-esteem. You're going to feel like proud of yourself that you've completed this thing. It's going to get you in contact with people. It's going to broaden your horizons in some way. So you could be dealing with people on a global level with the ninth house involved. Because you have Venus in the ninth. Whatever you're doing, it's going to be a labor of love. So if it's a romantic interest, it could be someone that's different, very different from you, someone from a foreign country, someone from a different cultural background. Neptune's in the third. So communication could be a little bit tricky. Neptune opposes Venus during this full moon. And Pluto is trining Venus from your first house. So there could be if it's an art project, that's the best energy for Neptune. If it's an art project, you're going to love it. You're going to really just be displaying your creativity in July. If it's anything but art or music or some creative thing, then you have to watch out for deception or delusion. But with Pluto trining Venus, this thing could really transform your life. Whatever you're working on, whether it's a relationship or a project or a creative project, it's going to bring change to how you see yourself and how others see you. Positive change. And Saturn is trining Uranus, so you have support from your ruling planet to do something innovative, to do something new, to express yourself in unique ways using technology. It could be a science project, it could be a web project, it could be something involving science and technology. Something where you might have to learn some skills. You might be learning new skills over the summer. Now, Mars and Mercury, Mars is already retrograde in Aquarius. So it's like there's new opportunity, but things are going to be moving slowly. And Mercury going retrograde, so if something ends at the end of the month, or somebody comes to you with a contract to sign, you need to be careful and check the fine print. That's all I'm saying. Other than that, you're fine, because whatever you're finishing up this month, whatever you're getting involved in, it's going to be successful. And it may lead you to move on to other things that are even more meaningful. So whether it's a relationship, whether you're leaving one relationship for a better one, or a career path, or you're leaving something for something more meaningful and more lucrative, it's there for you. So put your best foot forward, check all the details, make realistic choices, look at the facts. Don't get, don't fall into like this whole the spell of glamour. That's the only danger during this time because of Neptune, is that you over idealize something or someone. So, but if you have a realistic, and Capricorns are pretty cautious and realistic anyway, so I think you'll do fine. But you could be moving toward a new path that's going to be very fulfilling. So enjoy, and don't isolate yourself. Get out there and, if you've been kind of keeping to yourself, you need to stop that and need to get out and reach out to other people and have some fun in July. Really connect with others and enjoy life. It's not all, all work and no play is not good. And you know how Capricorns can get caught up into that pattern of work and no play. So give yourself a break in July and have some fun. And I hope this reading was a help to you. And if you want a private reading, you can just check the link in the description, and it'll take you to my website. So in the meantime, have a wonderful July. You've got the sun. The sun is shining on you. So enjoy life, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.